a light from above.
That's right. It is time for Veterans News. Let's go out to the offices of Vets Helping Vets USA and talk to Gary. Gary, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all this morning?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Is Joe with you?
Joe is not with me. Joe's not here.
It's great to be here this morning. It's a cold day, but it's getting the sun's coming out, so we got good things to hope for. But we do have to start off on a sad note before we introduce our guest. And I'm going to start off with the firefighters we've lost in the past week or so. And the first one is Captain Lloyd Lossinger of the Ocean City Wright Fire Control District at Fort Walton Beach, Florida. His end of watch was January the 6th, and unfortunately, he was a victim of COVID-19. We have firefighter John Howell Clift, who was with the Rural Metro Fire Department in Knoxville, Tennessee. His end of watch was January the 2nd, and firefighter Clift was also a victim to COVID-19. We have firefighter EMT Mark Dewey E. Cope, who was with the Reading Fire Department and Rescue Service in Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry I said Reading instead of Reading. He was also a victim of COVID-19. And we have Deputy Chief Danny Watkins, who was with the San Benito Fire Department in San Benito, Texas. His end of watch was January the 12th. And we have firefighter Leonard Cooney, who was with the Shreveport Fire Department in Shreveport, Louisiana. His end of watch was January the 6th, and also a victim, unfortunately, of COVID-19. A lot of casualties. Moving on to the law enforcement, we have Sergeant Frederick Butch Cameron with the Fairfax County Sheriff's Office in Fairfax, Virginia. His end of watch was January the 12th, and Butch Cameron was also a victim of COVID-19. We have Agent Elazar Hernandez Cargina, who was with the Carolina Municipal Police Department in Puerto Rico. His end of watch was January the 11th, and he was murdered while attempting to make an arrest. We have Agent Luis X. Salmon Condi of the Carolina Municipal Police Department in Puerto Rico also. His end of watch was January the 11th, and he was killed responding to the scene of an accident. We have Master Corporal Brian Levinge of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office in Hillsborough, Florida, Hillsborough County, Florida. His end of watch was January the 11th. He was killed when his vehicle was intentionally rammed by another vehicle. We have Agent Luis A. Marino Diaz of the Puerto Rico Police Department in Puerto Rico. He was murdered while attempting to make an arrest. We have Police Officer Melton Fox Gore of the Horry County Police Department in South Carolina. His end of watch was January 30th. He was killed while clearing debris from an accident. We have Conservation Officer Stephen Reinhardt of the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. He died from complications of COVID-19. We have Officer Brian D. Sicknick of the United States U.S. Capitol Police, whose end of watch was January 7th. he died as a result of what happened Wednesday at the Capitol that we all seen on TV. And we have Deputy Sheriff Jonathan David Price of the Marion County Sheriff's Office in Marion County, South Carolina. His end of watch was January the 6th, and he was killed in a vehicle crash. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to families of these firefighters and these law enforcement officers. If you could do taps and Amazing Grace for us, Tom.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Back to you guys.
All right, Tom, I'm going to let the Colonel introduce himself. Of course, he's with the Marion County Veterans Coalition, our own group of veterans here in Marion County. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put him on.
Morning, Tom. Craig Hamm. I'm president of the Marion County Veterans Council. And as you may know, all of the 52 veterans organizations in Marion County are invited to send a voting representative to the council as we continue to be the information source as a link between those organizations and the Veteran Service Officer, and also to do good things for veterans throughout the county. One of the things I wanted to mention this morning is the Veterans Cafe that the hospice has monthly. The next one is going to be on Tuesday, January 19th at 9 a.m. And the hospice is located on 34th Avenue behind the mall. And again, all veterans are invited. I went last month, and obviously a limited turnout because of all the COVID restrictions, but it is a nice opportunity to meet other veterans and find out what hospice does with and for veterans. The other main topic for this morning is our continuing efforts at Stuff the Bus. We are now nearing 1,000 backpacks full of school supplies that have been provided to 33 schools in Marion County to be issued to children who come from needy families. We have quite a need in the county, a lot of transient workers, a lot of movement, a lot of low-income families that qualify for free and reduced lunch throughout the county. And we provide these backpacks to the school counselors at each of the elementary schools so that when they process in a child who need, perhaps homeless, they can just give them a backpack with everything they need to be successful from day one as they begin their studies in Marion County.
Colonel, we're used to seeing the bus over there at Walmart But that's not the way you fill them anymore, is it?
Well, we certainly would like to be able to do that, and I've talked to Dr. Gullett, and she is certainly supportive of the Stuff the Bus initiative. The issue being Walmart restrictions in the era of COVID. For example, in 2019 and the years before, we would set up in the parking lot and have a visual, a school bus with a banner on it, a trailer with a banner on it, and hand people a list of the needed materials as they went into the Walmarts. And we would do each of 4 stores on a Saturday, successive Saturdays. That was our primary source of donations of the school supplies that go in the backpacks. However, in 2020, we weren't able to do that because of the COVID restrictions. And we've had to purchase the materials. And despite that, we had our largest donation of our history since July 27th. I said almost 1,000 backpacks that have been distributed to those 33 elementary schools and charter schools throughout the county. We also have January and February is the time of year when we reach out to our partners again to try to get funding to carry us through this coming summer. We like to have the backpacks delivered to the schools prior to the beginning of classes so that the kids get a fresh start.
How do we get supplies or how do we get money for this initiative to the program?
Well, there are a number of ways that one can contribute. We have a Facebook page, and if you enter Stuff the Bus, it's likely going to come up with our Marion County initiative, and look for the coin, a military coin that has the different services represented on it, and you'll know you're on the right page for Stuff the Bus. There is a donation button on the Facebook page that takes you to PayPal, where you can use a credit card or a PayPal account. As of last month, we now also have a web page that has the same capability. Finding that web page is a little trickier. We are stuffthebus.us, and Stuff the Bus is all one word. So if people if they Google Stuff the Bus as 3 words, they're not going to find us. If they do it as one word, stuffthebus.us, Uncle Sam, they will find us. And likewise, there is a donation button on the web page and some information about the program and how we operate it.
Okay, Tom, do you need to pause for station break there?
Yeah, we're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back with Veterans News with the good folks at Veterans Helping Veterans. We'll be right back. The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917. On Friday, January the 15th at 8:35, my guest will be Robert Cooper and Steve Blank of 0 Hour Life Center, a recovery community organization. We'll learn about the RCO and the many services they provide. There is hope for the hopeless, and there is life after addiction. Recovery is possible. We all know someone who can be helped by the RCO, so tune in at 8:35 Friday, January 15th. This is a vital information for our community, brought to you by 0 Hour Life Center and your friends here at WOCA, The Source.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros, trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
The next Higher Education Happenings radio show with the College of Central Florida will be Thursday, January 21st at 8:35 a.m. We will discuss the need for first responders and CF's new critical transport program. Rod McGinnis, Associate Dean of Health Sciences, will be our guest to describe the options available to students who are looking to be a frontline healthcare worker. Brought to you by the College of Central Florida and WOCA, The Source.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
God bless America, land that I love.
Let's go back out to the offices of Veterans Helping Veterans USA and join Gary along with Colonel Hamm. Guys, back to you.
Okay, yeah, we want to continue talking about these backpacks because we want to get as many as we can to these kids. Colonel, about people that might just want to donate the stuff themselves, or
Right. If anybody who has school supplies or prefers to support it by donating school supplies can call 352-843-2357, and I will come pick them up, and we use those to stuff the backpacks. Right now, we have about 100 backpacks ready to go. But as I said, this is the time of year when we go back out to our traditional supporters to collect more funds. This year we have something new. We have donation boxes, and our good friend Rondo Fernandez has let us put one of those at each of the Mojo's sites. We also have them at Grace Japanese Steakhouse and at Braised Onion. And hopefully soon we'll have them at some of the facilities for the county, and we'll be asking the commissioners to approve that, to put those out on the counter, for example, at the vehicle registration counter.
and you're also going to need backpacks to put the supplies in, right?
Well, we do, but we purchase the backpacks with the funds, and the reason we do that is we want a quality backpack, but a wide variety so that they look like every other kid in the school. We don't want these young people to have the stigma of, oh, that's a stuff the bus backpack. So we intentionally, I'll typically take 25 backpacks to an elementary school. There might be 2 that are the same. And that's done intentionally so that they can remain as anonymous as possible.
That's a great idea. And, I noticed, when I had to buy school supplies, when you get close to the time, a lot of times stores like Staples will put like pencils on sale for some ridiculous price, and, you can buy almost as many as you want, or rolls of paper. If they're buying them for their own children, and they buy enough for one more child, that, that would sure help.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons we're a year-round operation is in the fall, when the big stores move from school supplies to Halloween, we seek donations from those stores, and we also purchase for 25 cents on the dollar a lot of the supplies. So we have a storage unit right now that we're stockpiling supplies to start to stuff backpacks for this coming summer for distribution.
And I imagine, this year, even looking at August when school starts again, so many parents have been out of work due to this COVID, and it's probably still going to be a lot out of work by the time August comes, unfortunately. So the need is probably going to be greater this year, than it has been in the past.
Absolutely, and we're starting to see some of that now as parents who are going back to work are putting their children back in brick and mortar schools, classes, as opposed to Zoom lessons from home because they have to work. That creates a little surge in the demand as well.
And for the older veterans, that hadn't had kids in a while, when we think nowadays of back to school, it's not like when we went to school where you had to have 2 blue pens and 2 number 2 pencils. It's what, probably $100 or better worth of stuff in these things, right?
Well, we buy smart, but there are 18 different things that we put in the backpack, and these are the supplies that the teachers have said this is what we would like our students to have. And
Is there anything in particular that you don't get in that the kids really need?
well, the things that I have to buy that don't get donated are things like small handheld pencil sharpeners.
Okay.
People don't usually think about that. Colored markers and colored pencils. We generally get a lot of donations of notebook paper and number 2 pencils. I probably have enough right now to satisfy the 2021 need for the backpacks.
What about calculators for higher grades?
Well, again, we strictly focus on the elementary schools. The calculator requirement, in most cases, the teachers have a classroom set of calculators that they keep in a wall rack, and the students use them and then turn them back in. Because when it comes time for testing, there's only a certain kind of calculator that they can use on a test. So that's something that's kind of controlled by the school. And we have had people donate calculators, and generally we give those to the middle schools because it's a little more variable there.
Well, you're going to be coming in, giving us updates about where you are and what the needs are and where you're really running short periodically. So, because I think people, again, even when they give to us, there are things people just don't think about. And
Absolutely.
they should. It's not something that they deal with every day. You do, we do. But there are a lot of needs out there, and we were talking about, Marion County and all the counties really, how this virus and all the other things going on, the unemployment has impacted things. And sometimes the parents just don't have it to do. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad you guys have done a great job for a number of years over there. We talked about Lamar Hunt many, many years ago, kicking it off.
Right.
And it's been a great program for Marion County and all the kids. Tom has some old charcoal he used to use.
Yeah, in the back of the shovel.
I was wondering when the guy. Hey, Hank, if you can't get here on time, at least get here. That's all I'm saying.
I was down the hall praying for you, Tom.
Well, Joe Martone back in the studio next Monday. I'm going to need a lot of. Go light some candles for me too.
Give you some bad news. I had to deal with him last week, and it wasn't pleasant. Okay. How did they reach out to you? I know you have a couple of sites. So I want to go through those sites before we take off, and phone numbers or anything else you need to give them.
Sure. Just to reiterate that, my number, 352-843-2357. And also, if they find our webpage, they can send an email from there, info@stuffthebus.us. And again, Stuff the Bus is all one word on the webpage. The nice thing about both the webpage and the Facebook page donation buttons is you can sign up to give $1 every month automatically with a credit card. Our goal for January is to get 500 people to sign up to give us $1 every month to support Stuff the Bus.
Hank, we got about 30 seconds.
Go ahead, Gary. We can sign
Well,
up.
for
We're
Hank-
closed Monday now. Don't forget, Monday is a legal holiday. We will be closed.
And for Hank, I'll say, God bless America.
Thanks, guys, for all you do for the veterans in our area and the veterans nationwide. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you, Tom.
That is Veterans Helping Veterans with Vet News. We'll be back after this timeout.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
Wednesday, the House of Representatives voted to impeach President Trump on account of incitement of insurrection. The tally, 232 to 197, was mostly down party lines, with all 222 Democrats and 10 Republicans in the House voting to impeach. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder has been charged with willful neglect of duty that left the city of Flint, Michigan with lead-contaminated water for a regional outbreak of Legionnaire's disease in 2014. Snyder and others were scheduled to appear in court on Thursday. No governor in Michigan's 184-year history had been charged with crimes related to their time in office. Former 2020 U.S. presidential candidate Andrew Yang on Wednesday said he will run for mayor of New York City as a Democrat in this year's elections. Yang attempted to become the Democrat Party's nominee for presidency last year with a pledge to create a universal basic income that would pay every American $1,000 a month. USA Radio News.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS and you cannot afford to make payments